Computers, MP3s, and iPods, they've changed music forever. We can carry our entire library in the palm of our hand, but are we losing out on sound quality? Grammy Award-winning rapper Dr. Dre and Interscope founder and chairman Jimmy Iovine, they think so. That's why they've teamed up to lend their industry clout to a line of high-end headphones called Beats by Dr. Dre. They talked to me about how the idea went from thought to reality.
About 3 years ago, Dre and I were talking about, the integration of artists and their influence and popular culture. And we were talking about different things that we were doing, and we just said, let's get into sound, because right now sound is decimated. The digital revolution, as far as we're concerned, is what went terribly wrong. Yeah, it made TVs look better. It makes a lot of things. It makes video better. It makes film better. It made sound horrible. It's really decimated the emotion of the sound of music. So we started from scratch with the file, and so we started out with, we started with headphones. And what we did was we built our first headphone. We found a designer. We found a partner in Monster Cable. And we went out and we said, okay, we want a headphone to have fashion, but we wanted to sound the way it sounds to Dre and to producers in the studio, which is much different than any other headphone sounds. Our headphones are either made really expensively and sort of made for jazz music or really soft music, or they're made very cheap as a commodity and just blown through because they're pink or purple or something like that. And those are the choices. And so we went out and we decided that we needed something really, really fashionable, that's really cool, but yet sounds the way most of the producers produce music, because there is a common ground that producers have throughout the world that are in a studio and to make music feel the way it feels. So they spend months and months and months making records to feel a certain way, and the way they're being transmitted through a computer right now, where we'll talk about that later, where it's being decimated again because of the quality. See, computers aren't made for sound. They're made for talk. So when you run Apocalypse Now through a computer and the helicopter comes on, and most of the time to a PC, it sounds like a mosquito. So we're starting out with headphones, but our thing is really the full ecosystem.
Dr. Dre, when did you first recognize that the music that you were producing was not sounding the way you want it to sound to the actual consumer?
Actually, just watching my kids walk around and what they're listening to music on. They're listening to it on these white iPod headphones, and it's just a shame for us to be in the studio for the amount of time that it takes to put together a record, and for it to for that to be the conclusion of what they're listening to it on. It's ridiculous. So
you found out that they were not getting the experience that you wanted consumers to get. What was the next step for you?
The next step was to try to fix it, try to come up with a way to make something that people can listen to the music on, and for them to hear it the way it's supposed to be heard, the way we hear it in the studio, the way it was meant to be heard.
All right, so if we're going to talk about how it was meant to be heard, Jimmy, what are you introducing now? Because you're branching out. It's not just headphones. It's, as you say, trying to create this ecosystem of sound, because people use these iPads, iPods, and all types of MP3 players and computers to listen to their music.
Well, we're really starting to get this. First, we have the support of an enormous amount of support from the music industry, as you would imagine, from people like will.i.am and Timbaland and Bono and just musicians in general, that Jay-Z, people that really want to help make music sound better. So we're also getting a lot of help from the technology industry, meaning technology companies, which HP has been incredible. Apple is very interested in sound. So we're working on sending bigger files and better files to Apple for iTunes. And Apple is they're very concerned and very interested in the actual sound. So we're working very closely with them. But it's about the ecosystem, from the file to the computer to the device to the speaker to the earphone. If any of those things are too weak, the sound gets crushed. If all four of them are weak, it gets destroyed.
Now, you're introducing something called the Beatbox, for example, right? I mean, this is a revolutionary product for you. Why did you decide, Dr. Dre, to come out with this Beatbox?
I mean, it's an iPod, Doc. It's a way for people to bring the party home, so to speak. I'm really proud of this thing. It sounds like you have a subwoofer on it. There's a lot of bass out of it, and you can actually use more than one in your house, and they talk to each other. So, you know, it's just an incredible thing.
Now, this is like a revolution in the sound of music. What has happened to the music industry? I mean, you talk about them getting behind this effort of yours, but has the music industry changed so much that they've kind of losing control of the product?
No, they're losing control of the user side. They always never had control of the user side, right? They always the experience. See, Dre and I are fanatics for music. So we listen to music all the time on every possible device. So wherever we see a hole or something that's not sufficient or not exciting enough, we say, well, let's build that. And that's kind of how this company runs.
Now let's continue our conversation with Grammy Award-winning rap music star Dr. Dre and Interscope founder and chairman Jimmy Iovine. They spoke about other big-name partnerships as well as which product makes Dr. Dre sweat.
We have the Beats Pros for DJs headphones. We have we hooked up with LeBron James with these earbuds. They're incredible. Each ear has 2 drivers on them, so they sound better than any other bud out there. And you're able to work out in them. I've been working out in them and running and everything, and they don't move. You know, I know some people know that sometimes when you get an earbud and you start sweating, they start getting a little bit staticky and what have you, but these won't do that.
We've learned how to market to the core, to the people who actually use the products and people that are the first adapters, early adapters, and we have a lot of media that we have a lot of content that we've learned how to turn into media. So our marketing devices almost can't be duplicated.
Dr. Dre, you are the one who's helped produce a lot of this content, a lot of this available music. When Jimmy said that one of the troubles is you don't have a lot of money to market these artists, you kind of smiled at that. Is that changing, or is it becoming worse? It's getting worse.
Absolutely worse.
Why is it getting worse?
Because there's less people paying for music. You know what I mean?
It's a simple business. It's a simple problem.
It's as simple as that.